स्टार्ट करें? Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So हम लोग we are starting riveted joints. So rivet is a belongs to the permanent type of joint, and since the joints, mechanical joints, are classified into two classes, so non-permanent joints and permanent joints. Non-permanent joints can be assembled or disassembled without damaging the components, and examples are the screw joints, keys, couplings, etc. But permanent joints cannot be disassembled without damaging the components. And these joints can be of two kinds depending upon the nature of force that hold the two parts. Okay, so the permanent joint is classified into two parts, into two kinds, and that is on the application of force, how the force holds the two parts. The force can be of mechanical origin, that is mechanically applied force. For example, in the riveted joint, the joints formed by press or interference fields, etc., where two components are joined by applying mechanical force. The components can also be joined by molecular force, such as welded joints, brace joints, joints with adhesives, etc. So they are joined with the molecular force, while the joint can be made with the application of simple mechanical force. But not until long ago, riveted joints were very often used to join structural members permanently. However, significant improvements in welding and bolted joints has curtailed the use of these joints. In earlier, riveted joints were mainly used for the structural and other purpose. Means only riveted joint is used to have the permanent type of joint. But as there is a significant development in the process of welding and the bolted joints, so the application of riveted joints is curtailed, means the application is reduced. But even then, rivets are used in structures, ship body, bridge, tanks and shells, and also in utensils. So where this some strength is required, from low strength to the high strength. So what is a rivet and what is a riveting and what is a riveted joint? So there are some terminologies. So let's understand what is a rivet and what is riveting. So a rivet is a short cylindrical rod having a head and a tapered tail. So that rivet, which the member which joins the two components, okay, which joins the two components, is a cylindrical member, and that cylindrical member is having a head and a tapered tail. A head is there and a tail is there, and the main body of the rivet is called shank. According to the Indian standard specifications, since we have to follow the Indian standards, therefore the Indian standards had given some specifications for rivet heads. So these rivet heads are of various types. So and these such as key rivet heads for general purposes are specified by Indian standard IS 2155-1982, and that standard code is given for the below 12 mm diameter head rivet head. If rivet diameter is below 10 mm, then the heads for these cases are listed in this Indian standard. And IS 1929-1982, this standard is used for rivet heads ranging from 12 mm to 48 mm diameter. And the rivet heads which are used for the boiler works are specified by this standard 192 IS 1928 1978. So this is a rivet. So it is having a head, a tail, and a shank. Shank is the body of rivet. So head is at one end there is a head, and at the other end there is a tail. And to get dimensions of the heads, we may use any machine design handbook. Means what will be, if the diameter of the rivet is D, then what will be the dimension of this head, and what will be the dimension of this tail, so these dimensions are listed in various machine design handbooks, and we can refer from that as per the standards, Indian standards. Riveting is an operation whereby two plates are joined with the help of a rivet. So the process of joining, the process of making the joint is known as riveting. Means where the two plates are joined with the help of a rivet. So adequate mechanical force is applied to make the joint strong and leak proof. So these are the two criteria. Means in riveted joint, we should have a strong joint, and we should also have a leak proofness in some cases, depending upon the application. Now, how the joint is made? Smooth holes are drilled or punched and rimmed in two plates to be joined. So the plates which are to be joined together with the help of this rivet. So before joining the two plates, in the two plates, holes were drilled. So the hole can be made using the punching and then rimming the hole. And then the two plates are bring together, and then the rivet is inserted in the hole. And then head formation of rivet takes place with the help of some making up bar. So necessary force is applied at the tail end with a die until the tail deforms plastically to the required shape. So adequate mechanical force is applied so that the tail deforms to the required shape. This is the process of, this figure represent the process of riveting. So this is one plate, this is another plate, and the plate contains the holes. So these holes are there. In this hole, the rivet is inserted. So this is the head of the rivet, and this is a baking up bar which bakes up the head, and this is the tail end. So this die, there is a die on which force is applied to deform it, to plastically deform it into a head shape. Riveting methods. So one is hand riveting. So here a die is placed on the protruding end of the shank, and blows are applied by a hammer, such as here. So the blows are applied here in the die. So that is the hand riveting. Machine riveting. So here the die is a part of the hammer, which is operated by pneumatic, hydraulic or steam pressure. So in case of machine riveting, the hammering action is performed by a machine, by a hammer that is operated by pneumatic mode or hydraulic mode or by steam pressure. And depending upon whether the rivet is initially heated or not, the riveting operation can also be of two types. So riveting methods, we have hand riveting and we have the machine riveting. And this riveting operation are also of two types. One is cold riveting, that depends on whether the rivet is heated or not initially. So cold riveting and hot riveting. So in the cold riveting is done at ambient temperature. Riveting is done at the ambient temperature. While in the hot riveting case, rivets are initially heated before applying force. So in the hot riveting, the rivet is heated and then it is inserted in the hole, and then it allows to cool. While in case of cold riveting, the rivet is inserted and then the tail is deformed. So after riveting is done, the joint is heat treated by quenching and tempering. So this process are done. So in order that head, shank and tail ensure leak proofness of the joints, additional operation like caulking is done, and to have the leak proofness in the joint, there are some additional operations which are performed to make the joint leak proof. So caulking is and flaring, these are the two operations which are performed after the riveting. Now next is types of riveted joints and joint efficiency. Okay, how the joints are classified. So riveted joints are mainly of two types. One is lap joints, and this is the lap joint. So means one plate is overlapped to another plate. So these are the two plates which overlaps each other. And second one is butt joints. Here the plates are placed side by side and the joint is made. So this is known as the lap joint and this is known as the butt joint. The plates that are to be joined are brought face to face such that an overlap exists like this. Then rivets are inserted on the overlapping portion. So this is the overlapping portion. So the rivets are inserted in this portion. So single or multiple rows of rivets are used to give strength to the joint. So here we may use a single row of rivet or double row of rivet or triple row of rivet or quadruple row of rivet likewise. So that are used to provide the strength to the joint. Then depending upon the number of rows, the riveted joints may be classified as single riveted lap joint, double or triple riveted lap joint, etc. Means if there is only one row is used here, then the joint will be a single riveted lap joint. If we use two rows of rivet, so one is here and another one is here, so the joint then will be classified as double riveted lap joint. If there are three rows, then joint will be triple riveted lap joint. When multiple joints are used, that is the arrangement of rivets between the two neighboring rows may be of two kinds. In chain riveting, the adjacent rows have rivets in the same transverse line, and in zigzag riveting, on the other hand, the adjacent rows of the rivets are staggered, such as this. If the arrangement is of this type, this is the overlapping portion. So here we have one row of rivet. This is one row of rivet. So this joint is known as single riveted lap joint. And chain riveting, since the rivets are arranged like this. Here also, in this case, observe this. So this is plate 1, this is plate 2, these plates are overlapped. Then in the overlapping portion, there are two rows of the rivets. This is one row of rivet and this is another row of rivet. So this is the joint is double riveted lap joint. And the arrangement of the rivet is chain riveting, since the rivets are placed side by side. So the arrangement is known as chain riveting. Here, in this figure, the two plates are overlapped. So this is a lap joint now, and there are two rows of the rivets. This is one row of rivet, and this is another row of rivet. So the joint will be double riveted lap joint, but the arrangement of rivet is zigzag arrangement. So this is known as double riveted lap joint, zigzag riveting. So this is chain riveting and this is zigzag riveting. Then next is the butt joints. So these are the two plates which are placed in a butt position. So in this type of joint, the plates are brought to each other without forming any overlap. Riveted joints are formed between each of the plates, and one or two cover plates are used. Depending upon the number of cover plates, the butt joints may be single strap or double strap butt joint. So like lap joints, the arrangement of the rivets may be of various kinds, namely single row, double row, or triple row, quadruple row, chain riveting, or zigzag riveting. So here uh, there is a cover plate which is used to make the joint. This is how the joint is made. So this is plate 1, this is plate 2, and this plate is a cover plate. Yeah, cover plate. This is the cover plate. So this is one row of rivet. Here also there is a single row of rivet. So the joint is, it is single riveted, single strap butt joint. Since one strap is used, this cover plate, strap भी बोलते हैं इसको या cover plate भी बोलते हैं. So this is a single strap or single cover plate butt joint, and single riveting is there. In this arrangement, this is one plate, this is another plate. So these are placed in a butt position. Then one strap is above and other strap is below the plate. And there are two rows of the rivets which are used here. This is one row and this is another row. So the joint is double riveted, double unequal strap butt joint. Since the cover plate, both these cover plates are unequal. Observe this, the length of this plate here, and the length of this plate. So these are not equal. Okay. So we may use equal cover plate, or we may use unequal cover plates, or the strap. So this joint is classified as double riveted, double unequal strap butt joint, chain riveting. So we may have a zigzag arrangement also. So this is a chain riveting case. The next is joint efficiency. So joint efficiency. So the strength of a riveted joint is measured by its efficiency. And what is the efficiency? So the efficiency is given as, the efficiency of a joint is defined as the ratio between the strength of a riveted joint to the strength of an unriveted joint or a solid plate. Riveting के बाद में उसकी strength निकाली, और riveting के पहले जो strength थी, इन दोनों का ratio, that is known as the strength of the efficiency of a riveted joint. So obviously the efficiency of the riveted joint may not only depends upon the size and the strength of the individual rivets, but also on the overall arrangement and the type of the joints. So the efficiency depends on the type of the joint and also the arrangement of the rivets. So usual range of the efficiencies expressed in percentiles of the commercial boiler joints are given in table in the next slide. This table shows the efficiencies of commercial boiler joints. कि जो boiler जब हम बनाते हैं तो boiler का जो joint boiler is made with the help of riveted joint. तो उस boiler में जो joint riveted joint use हो रहा है, उस riveted joint की efficiency, this is given by this table. This is available in the design data book also. So for the lap joint and for the butt joint, double strap, single, double, and triple. This is the range of efficiencies. Single riveted, double riveted, triple riveted. This is the range of efficiency. Important terms used in riveted joints. Now there are some important terms which are used to have to define the joint. So these are pitch. This is the distance between two centers of the consecutive rivets in a single row. So if a single row is there and say 10 rivets are there, So the distance between the centers of the two rivets, consecutive rivets, एक रिवेट के बाद में दूसरा रिवेट लगा, उन दोनों की जो consecutive distance है centers, वो उसको कहते हैं pitch, and that is denoted by small p. There is another term which is back pitch. So this back pitch is the shortest distance between two successive rows in a multiple riveted joint. Means if there are 2 rows or 3 rows, then the distance between the first and the second row, the center distance of it, that is known as the back pitch. It is denoted by the PB or PT. Then diagonal pitch. So this is the distance between the centers of rivets in adjacent rows of the zigzag riveted joint, usually denoted by the symbol PD. Diagonal, one rivet to another rivet distance, rivet in a one row to the rivet in another row, in दोनों का diagonal distance, zigzag riveted. Then margin or marginal pitch. So this is the distance between the center of the rivet hole to the nearest edge of the plate. Plate की edge से कितने distance पर rivet hole का center है. So that distance is the margin or marginal pitch, and that is denoted by small m. This figure represent all these parameters. So this is the pitch. So in a single row, the distance between two consecutive rivet centers, center distance. This is back pitch, and this is the diagonal pitch, and this is the margin pitch or margin. Now, strength of riveted joint. So, strength of a riveted joint is evaluated taking all possible failure paths in the joint into account. How the joint will fail. So, strength is calculated taking into consideration the different failure modes of this riveted joint. Since rivets are arranged in a periodic manner, the strength of joint is usually calculated considering one pitch length of the plate. So since the arrangement of the rivet is in a periodic manner, so the strength is calculated per pitch length of the plate. So for single pitch length, we calculate the strength. Now the failure modes of a rivet. So the main 4 possible ways in which a single riveted joint may fail are: one is the tearing of the plate. So when it will occur, if the force is too large, the plate may fail in tension along the row. The maximum force allowed in this case is PT, that is a tearing force, that is equal to P minus D, P minus D into T into sigma T, where sigma T is a allowable tensile stress of the plate material, P is the pitch, D is the diameter of the rivet hole, here the D is the diameter of the rivet hole, T is the thickness of the plate failure. ये this is all. यहाँ से जो है वो the plate will fail. So this will be the resisting area, यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक का resisting area. So that is given by इस center से इस center का distance is P. So we have to subtract half here circle and half circle distance here, so that we get this distance यहाँ से यहाँ तक. So this distance is P minus D. This is, and it is multiplied with the thickness. So this is known as the tearing of the plate. Shearing of the rivet. So this is how the rivet may shear. So the maximum force withstood by the joint to prevent this failure is PS, shearing force, that is multiplied by N into pi by 4 D squared tau. So the area the sheared area, the cross section area is pi by 4 d square, but here represent the diameter of rivet hole. So this is for lap joint, single strap butt joint, and this is the relation, the strength of shearing strength of the riveted joint. So that is equal to n into 2 into pi by 4 d squared tau. So that is for the double strap butt joint, since the area is double here. The reason is, in a double strap butt joint, the rivet sheared in a 2, the sheared area is twice, double shear में होता है, क्योंकि यहाँ भी जो है वो there will be another plate is there. So tau allowable shear stress of the material, n is number of rivets per pitch length, this n. Then crushing of the rivet. So this is how, okay, since rivet body is in contact with the plate hole, so there may be chances कि जो है वो some wear between these two surfaces takes place. So the hole becomes larger, और hole बड़ा हो जाएगा. So it will take this form. So this is known as the crushing failure of rivet. So if the bearing stress on the rivet is too large, the contact force between the rivet and the plate may get damaged. So with a simple assumption of uniform contact stress, the maximum force allowed is, so here the contact stress is uniform here. So the strength in crushing is n into d into t into sigma c, where n represent number of rivets per pitch length, d is diameter of the rivet hole, t is the thickness of plate. Then tearing of the plate at tearing of the plate at the edge. Tearing of the plate at edge. So if the margin is too small, the plate may fail as shown in the figure. This is if we done holes nearer to the edge. So during the riveting, this failure may take place. Tearing of this plate. होता है कि when we punch hole on a paper near to the edge, the paper tears near the hole. So this can be prevented by taking this as a 1.5D. So that is the empirical relation. This comes from the experience or experiments. So we use this directly. Now the efficiency. So this is obtained as the ratio between the minimum of this value, the minimum of the tearing strength or the shearing strength or the crushing strength, to the strength of unriveted plate, that is to the load carried by a solid plate, which is P into T into sigma T. If there is a solid plate, so that is that is the pitch. ये pitch हो गया, thickness हो गया, so that will be the strength. Unriveted plate की strength ही होगी. So thus the efficiency is represented as minimum PT, PS, PC by PT sigma T. In a double or triple riveted joint, the failure mechanisms may be more than those discussed above. So we have discussed tearing failure, that is a single kip. All rivets are failed in a tear, or all rivets are failed in a crushing, or all rivets are failed in a shearing. But in case of double or triple riveted arrangement, there may be chances that one row is failing in the tearing and the other row is failing in the shearing, or in triple riveted or in the quadruple riveted. One row, all rows are failed in a shear, or one row is failing in a crushing and other rows are failing in a tearing. So the combinations are there. So the failure of a plate along the outer row may occur in the same way as above. However, in addition, the inner rows may fail. For example, in double riveted joint, the plate may fail along the second row. But in order to do that, the rivets in the first row must fail either by shear or by crushing. If they consider there is a riveted joint, is a double riveted joint. So so one outer row is there and one inner row is there. Okay. So the condition to fail the inner row is that the outer row should fail. Outer row should fail first, either by shear or crushing, and then the inner row may fail in tearing. So the maximum allowable load such that the plates does not tear in the second row. So this is the strength of the second row is P minus D into T into sigma T, tearing plus minimum of this crushing or shearing. So further, the joint may fail by shearing of rivets in both the rows, crushing of rivets in both the rows, shearing of rivet in one row and crushing in the other row. The efficiency should be calculated taking all possible failure mechanism into consideration. So we have, for calculating the efficiency, we have to consider the combination of these failures also. So that's all for today. In the next lecture, we will discuss the process of designing the riveted joint, or the design procedure of riveted joint. We'll cover in next lecture. Yes, so आज के लिए इतना ही काफी है. So today आज हमने क्या किया? We try to understand कि what is riveted joint क्या होता है, how the joint is classified, and what are the various terminologies involved in riveted joint, and what is the strength of the riveted joint, and what is the efficiency of the riveted joint. If you have any question, you can ask me.